देखते हैं स्ट्रीम हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा। देखो स्ट्रीम दिख रही है ना डिस्कॉर्ड पर।
हाँ
कुछ बोल, माइक टेस्टिंग भी कर लेते हैं।
माइक टेस्टिंग
बढ़िया बढ़िया
1
चल
2
रहा
3 4 5 6 7 8 9
है। सो वी आर लाइव। ओ माय गॉड, ओ माय गॉड। कुछ एक्साइटमेंट दिखा दे भाई प्लीज़, अकेले यहाँ और कोई वैसे भी नहीं
ये
है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। स्टैनली पैरेबल, आई हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट दिस गेम इज, पर लेट्स सी।
चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
This is the
स्किप मत
story of a man named Stanley.
स्किप तो नहीं कर रहा मैं, मजाक उड़ा गए।
हाँ भाई स्किप मत करिएगा।
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
भाई हर एम्प्लॉय का अपना कमरा है।
Employee number 427's job was
सही है भाई,
simple.
बड़ी महंगी कंपनी।
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he'd been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
थोड़ा पर्सनल अटैक नहीं हो गया?
बहुत ज्यादा।
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
अच्छा, ओह। अगर मैं अभी कहीं ना जाऊँ तो क्या होगा?
देख बैठा रहे।
2 मिनट यहीं बैठे रहते हैं कंप्यूटर के सामने। अच्छा मैं वॉशरूम जाके आया, कुछ हुआ तो बताइए।
हे राम।
आ गया, कुछ बोला ये?
अब
तो इतनी तो मेटा भी नहीं निकली जितना सोच रहे थे।
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
कमर बंद हो गया
Stanley
मेरा।
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ठीक है, सेंसिटिविटी थोड़ी कम करते हैं, रुको। काफी ज़्यादा है। सिंपलीफाइड कंट्रोल्स ऑफ। इससे ज़्यादा सिंपल कुछ हो सकता है? सही है भाई।
ये कौन दे रहा?
अरे रहने दे भाई, मेरे को लग रहा है ये मारेगा, इस बात पे ही मारेगा। और कितना सिंपल चाहिए तेरे को? माउस सेंसिटिविटी कम करते हैं, कैमरा सेंसिटिविटी ये भी कम कर लेते हैं, फील्ड ऑफ व्यू थोड़ा बढ़ा देते हैं,
थोड़ा
थोड़ा। अब मज़ा आ रहा है ना? अब ये देख यार, अब भी ज़्यादा है सेंसिटिविटी। बेटर कम करो क्या? फील्ड ऑफ व्यू ज़्यादा वाइड हो गया।
कम कर, थोड़ा 80 तक कर दे।
हाँ बेटर, ये अच्छा लग रहा है।
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
पहले बातें मान ले
राइट
बता बातें माननी नहीं माननी
नहीं राइट पे थे
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
क्या कर रहा है
ट्राई कर रहा हूँ कि कुछ निकल जाए यहाँ से
नहीं निकल रहा ना
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
भाई नरेटर बहुत बेइज्जती करता है यार
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. After a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
ओ यार और वेट करूँगा थोड़ा वेट लग रहा है और कुछ आ सकता है अभी तो ये अभी किस पे कैसे चढ़ा था
यस
भाई क्या मस्त फोर्थ वॉल ब्रेकिंग चल रही है भाई 1 मिनट और रुकते हैं आई डोंट थिंक मेरे ख्याल से हो गया इसका और नहीं आ रहा ना ओए रियल टाइम है क्या नहीं
क्या
रियल टाइम नहीं है ना नहीं मैंने डाला था ना
नहीं हाँ
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
सब इग्नोर करना है या कुछ ये जाना है
देख चल एक ले लेते हैं
चलो
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
गाली पड़ेगी फिर से
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
अच्छा और ऑप्शन नहीं है
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
Nikalo.
It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
क्या
Let's see, we went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay,
ये कर लो पहले.
yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
गाड़ी मारेगी क्या मेरे को जैक्सन कंट्रोल्स में जंप का भी था ना बटन
स्पेस से नहीं हो रहा
जंप तो कर नहीं रही क्राउच में लेफ्ट कंट्रोल लिखा है क्राउच तो कर रहा है पर जंप नहीं कर रहा
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay.
Spoiler.
We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
What the fuck क्या था
ये मैंने पहुंचा नहीं था यहाँ पे
अच्छा आई थिंक एक एंडिंग हो गई गेम की
मतलब मैं इस रास्ते से नहीं पहुंचा था
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
यार एक मिनट मेरे को लग रहा है मेरे लेट मी रीबाइंड द की मेरे को लग रहा है तो की काम नहीं कर रही है कुछ क्या की दूं इसको जंप के लिए F इससे भी नहीं कर रहा
तो नहीं होगा ना उसमें
रीसेट की मैं कह रहा हूँ फिर से मिस करते हैं लेफ्ट वाला.
When Stanley... Wait.
Right.
Wait, what?
What the fuck?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... What, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure.
भाई.
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
यहाँ जाने नहीं देगा ये. कहाँ जाना बता? 1 2 3 4 5 ऑप्शन है. यहाँ पे था वो रूम मेन मैम वाला.
चल चल यहीं पे चल.
तो वहीं पहुँच गए. ओ गलत जगह जा रहा हूँ.
वो बता थोड़ी रहा कहाँ जाना.
बात तो सही है.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. It's got to be better than this.
ये वो है क्या?
Let's give it a shot. Why not?
अभी तो यहाँ से क्या? अभी ये recurring था. What the fuck?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
बात मान लेते हैं. मैं तो कह रहा हूँ बात मानते हैं.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
खोल दरवाजा फिर.
Aha! I knew we'd
He
missed
gave it?
something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
भाई ये ना.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
Oh,
Is
भाई.
that correct?
भाई वापस कर सही
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
अब क्या करूं?
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Quiet.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
हे भगवान ये क्या?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable
ये
Adventure
मेरे को लग नहीं रहा
line.
एंडिंग थी.
Just follow the line.
नहीं,
How
नहीं.
simple is that?
बोल.
लाइन फॉलो कर.
ये छोड़ना.
Rebellious.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
अच्छा. ये ले और कुछ नहीं है. चल लाइव जा. नाइस. अभी लाइन में गायब जाती ज़्यादा मज़ा आता.
The line TM.
हाँ सही में लाइन टीएम था वहाँ पे.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life
क्या
itself?
हुआ?
Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
What the fuck?
Now we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact
Oh,
a
bhai.
byproduct
Bhai,
of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
ये क्या बोल रही
Okay.
है?
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct?
भाई माफ कर दे भाई, गलती हो गई भाई, सॉरी भाई.
Weird back there? Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
James Bond. गेट बंद हो गया.
इतनी ट्रिप की है भाई ये.
ओए, what the fuck?
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
ठीक है भाई, देख लिया. झाट दिखा रहा है.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
जय माता दी, जय माता दी, जय माता दी. एक लाइन ही होगी, एक लाइन ही. अरे वाह. ओके, तो मैं यहाँ गया था, मेरे को जाना है यहाँ. वापस यहाँ आते हैं,
फिर बंद होगा.
देखते हैं.
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
अरे
Oh,
भाई,
no, not again.
मेरे
Line,
को लग
how
रहा है-
could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through...
मेरा नंबर क्या था?
you-
427.
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
बोरा नीचे.
वो-
अरे
अरे-
यार, मेरे ख्याल से पहले जाते ना वो, तभी यही आता. उन्हें जो भी कर लो,
हाँ.
इतना तो नहीं होने वाला कि 15-20
You know
है यार.
what, Stanley?
अरे भाई,
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting,
Wait.
daring, mysterious.
Yeah, band ho gaya.
Ooh,
मैंने
this
करा.
all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
चल. क्या हो गया?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley for...
हेलो.
एक मिनट होल्ड कर. हाँ, मम्मी आगे जा गया.
A new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your
हे
imagination.
भगवान, कहाँ
Whatever it
फंसा
might
दिया?
be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
कहाँ फंसा दिया? ओके, नहीं है तो वापस ही आ गए. बैठ के इसकी मेज में फंसे रहो.
गोल गोल घूमता रहा पे कुछ और आएगा.
अगर इसने वापस पहुंचाया अब, अगर इसने
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd
You
also
not
like to
again.
veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
acknowledge it, TM.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
Illusion.
How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
हम कर भी
which
रहे हैं भाई,
means
हद
that
हो गया।
somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
दूसरा खोला नहीं.
जाने भी नहीं दे रहा.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion
सारे
ending.
choices लिखे हुए हैं.
You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I
हाँ
don't
कौन
want
से
it to
restart
be.
कितने restart हो
I
गए?
don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget
हुए
what's
हैं क्या?
going on. I don't
Oh,
want to be
यहाँ पे
trapped
हम
like
यहाँ पे
this.
find the
I
confusion
won't
and schedule.
restart the game. I won't do it.
Fifth
I won't
restart.
do it. I won't
फिर
do
narrator
it.
forgets about previous restarts.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for
Well,
us?
left, right, दोनों door. Illusion of choice.
So, okay.
आगे तो पढ़ क्या है?
I guess now we just
यही
wait.
तो है fifth
you know.
restart.
I suppose in
बाद-
some way that this is a
Attempts to
kind of
fulfill.
story, wouldn't you agree?
फिर in the line
I'm not
begin
quite
following
sure if we're in the
identical
destination
employee,
or the
deteriorate.
journey.
Attempt
They're
to make a
always
story
saying
like
that
that.
life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope
Simply
that's where
black
we
space
are.
wander
right
into
now.
blackness.
We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do...
What the fuck?
Restart अभी.
वो narrator भूल गया होगा. Ending recording.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
अब इसका वाला पाथ फॉलो करते हैं. अगर वो दरवाजा आया तो.
आ तो रहा है.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
मेरे को लग रहा है अगर right enter करूँगा तो पूरा repeat ना करना पड़ता है.
हो तो सकता है. पूरा तो नहीं, एक आगे भी
This was
चॉइस
not the
थी.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps
आगे
he
एक चॉइस
wanted to
थी ना,
stop
नीचे
by
जाना
the
था,
employee
ऊपर भी जा
lounge
सकते.
first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What
Wow.
a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
कभी ना इंसान है यार, ये मैं नहीं सुन रहा इसकी.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
वो हमने ये भी तो नहीं दिया था last time. सीधा भी नहीं कहते ना.
कर निकलते हैं.
देखते हैं, छोटा लग रहा है.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Oh भाई.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone
line.
you've forgotten about. Please.
Line DM.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
हे भगवान मैं तो चेक कर रहा था कि गिर सकते नहीं गिर सकते तो गिरी क्या
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Oh, Matrix.
Stanley walked through the red door. Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures.
Oh, blackness.
Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put
पता
enough
है
time
ये
into
स्नेक
that?
की बात लग
Because I
रही
did.
स्नेप
And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go.
Oi.
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
अब जाऊंगा लेफ्ट ओए
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
आया यार मजा तो आया
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
ओए ओह कौन सा लूँ
इसमें जा।
इसमें
ओए इस पे कुछ आया था क्या देख।
नहीं ओए बंदूक है
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
हे भगवान
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be
Bye.
sure to keep notes on your experience.
यही करता रहूँगा क्या मैं दो मिनट ट्राई करते रुक जा भाई ये बच्चा फनी है 1 मिनट ट्राई करते 1 मिनट ट्राई करते 1 मिनट तो बोलेगा अब बच्चा चला दूं क्या करूं ओ
हाँ जला दे।
Put the baby in the oven. यार
अरे जलने देना।
ये तो पूरा अंदर जाके वापस आया था. Bye.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
अरे
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Tetris.
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
भाई ये लिटरली गेम ऐसी बनी है लाइक काउच पे मैं ना 2 बंदे बैठे हैं लाइक 3-4 बंदे बैठे हैं.
Fascinating.
ये क्या है?
What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
ये क्या है? ये मैंने कभी नहीं
Well,
किया.
it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower. Perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Don't tread on me.
उल्टा.
यार अब इतना घूम के जाना पड़ेगा.
FPS बहुत हो गया क्या?
नहीं
टीम का लग रहा है.
उस स्ट्रीम पे 30 FPS आ रही होगी मैंने से यार. YouTube पे सही आ रही होगी.
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Thank goodness, Stanley, what a close call. You really wandered off into that thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong direction, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Rocket League?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I have.
बुला दे बाकियों को बुला.
Just
Rocket
a
League खेल रहे
nice
हैं.
big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
ओ भाई इन्होंने करने कैसे दिया ये?
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball.
भाई
Oh, what
कॉपीराइट
fun.
इशू दिया है.
We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
ओ भाई वो स्पीड बढ़ रही है मेरी.
कोई बात. इसके डेवलपर सेम है क्या? ओए
कॉपीराइट. अरे भाई कॉपी. ओए
Hold on. What are you doing?
अरे वाह.
क्या है?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
Oh.
How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
मैं बता रहा हूँ गया नहीं नैरेटर. ये बस झूठ बोल रहा है. ओ भाई ये तो गिरा दिए.
इतनी गंदी बीटी हो रही है ना कि ये हॉरर गेम की बन गई है भाई.
पता ही नहीं भाई क्या चल रहा है. वो लाइट. ओए
ओए
अंदर नहीं जा सकते.
खिड़की होगी।
भाई क्या डेवलप कैसे करते हैं भाई लोग ये गेम।
सही में क्या, कौन सा नशे करे?
क्या करूं भाई मैं।
ये नीचे गिर रहे थे, देखा था बीटा बीटा लिखा हुआ था।
हाँ हाँ।
बीटा टेस्टिंग वाला मैप है ये।
ओए ये क्या हुआ।
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
What the fuck?
पता नहीं। अच्छा लोडिंग हुई फिर से।
वो
ओए डिड आई रीच एन एंडिंग।
मेरे को लगता रहे।
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
चलिए इसका बेसिक फॉलो करते हैं हम, नॉर्मल जो स्टोरी है।
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
रिप फ्रांस क्या लिखा है, फ्रांस।
फ्रांस।
IT tapped. We're broke Wednesday. Was inspection. चलो भाई।
फाइनेंशियल पैनिक मीटिंग।
ऑफिस पार्टी भाई, बेस्ट ऑफिस पार्टी। फ्राइडे 4 बजे। सोशल आर कर लो। Graphs about things plus money. We have our new product.
A lot of percent. Why quarterly?
Number of slides on the slide. Slides chart. ओए चेंज किसने किया ये? से ऑटोमेटिक हो रहा है। Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Combo charts please are begging stop. Pause appreciation. Monetize free to play.
Why did we have
Football spinning break clear
mitosis about clear screen?
भाई
Talk less. Don't get fired.
don't get fired. Easy भाई।
Amazon
Question mark profit. How to solve ball up inside you, take it. भाई ये गेम ज़्यादा पर्सनल हो रही है अब। Using cash to share employees.
पिछली बार खेली थी तब नहीं हुई थी इतनी।
ओ भाई। Everyone is unique. You most of all.
Diversity trading.
क्या बात है। अच्छा अब रिपीट हो रहा। Let's go.
रूम क्लोजेट खोलियो।
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
कुछ तो होगा, ऐसे कैसे कुछ नहीं है साले।
There was
दरवाजा
nothing
बंद।
here. No choice to make, no path to
दरवाजा
follow.
बंद कर,
Just
दरवाजा
an
बंद कर।
empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
क्या बात है, ये कुछ तो है।
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything.
बेइज्जती कर
At
रहा है
least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
FA?
पता नहीं
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
वेट करते हैं इसके एक और डायलॉग की
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
कुछ तो पक्का
I
है
never
यहाँ
would have
पे।
thought to mention it.
कुछ तो पक्का है यहाँ पे जब तक ये फोर्स नहीं करता
Maybe to
निकलने
you
को
this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
कंसर्निंग अरे भाई साहब कितनी बेइज्जती करता है ये इंसान
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
यार ये गेम बढ़िया है यार आई लव दिस गेम
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
कीबोर्ड
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
कीबोर्ड बोल रहे इसने कीबोर्ड कहाँ है
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead.
अच्छा ये मेरे को कह रहा है रियल पर्सन डेड
Human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your
कमीना यार
species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative elements in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
अरे यार शिट
All right. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
अरे भाई ये मेरी बात कर रहा था ये गेम स्पीकर पे चल रही थी तो मेरे आसपास बोल रहा था यार शिट यार ये तो बहुत ही पर्सनल हो रहा है
बहुत ज्यादा फोर्थ वॉल ब्रेक करते हैं
फोर्थ वॉल मेरे बची का है मुंह पे आके गाली दे रही है
फोर्थ वॉल तोड़ के तुझे तोड़ रहे हैं वो
भाई
रुकी थोड़ी देर रुकी और कुछ होता है कि नहीं होता
हाँ रुक मैं पानी भी लेके आया उसके गला सूख गया भाई तो कुछ और बोले तो बताइए और कुछ बोला ही
नहीं
चलो भाई गिव अप कर दिया इसने
Ah, second player. Good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है देख के भाई ठीक है ओए देखिए क्या है
पता है उठा तो सकते नहीं चलिए इसकी बात मान लेते हैं एक बार ये वाला प्ले थ्रू इसकी बात मान के कर रहे हैं ना
ये नीचे भी जाना है याद रखियो
हाँ knows that what the boss says goes if the boss suffered losses then what क्या because the boss knows that what the boss says goes if the bosses suffered losses then that's what the boss chose ठीक है भाई
पता नहीं भाई
एक्सट्रीम बाथरूम्स। शीशे में शक्ल तो आई नहीं थी। बंद हो गया भाई।
क्या लिखा है इस पे दरवाजे पे देखियो।
एग्जीक्यूटिव बाथरूम में था।
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked,
Ooh.
unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
एक दो गलत डालना चाहता हूँ मैं।
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
फिर से कुछ और नहीं।
2845.
यार ये तो बोल नहीं रहा कुछ।
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story.
ये भगवान, तो ये नरेटर वो गिफ्ट जो करता है ना, मजा आते देखने में भाई।
ये कुछ था क्या?
हाँ वहाँ बटन है नीचे जाने का, ये तो वही है, नीचे आके फिर अटक जाएंगे।
गिफ्ट अलग है।
हाँ पर वही, अरे उसी बड़ा सा रूम है ना जो भी है वो।
हाँ?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt
मेरे को
more
अभी तो पता
free
नहीं
to
चला हम
think
किसी
for
एंडिंग में पहुंचे नहीं
himself,
पहुंचे।
to question the nature of his job.
लग तो रहा है वो
How
दो
did he
एंडिंग
feel
थी,
this
एक
now,
कंफ्यूजन वाली
when
और
for
एक वो।
years
वो
it
कंफ्यूजन
had
वाली
never
खत्म हुई या
occurred
नहीं
to
हुई?
him? This
पता नहीं,
question
समझ
would
नहीं आया।
not go
वही तो, वो
unanswered for
confusion
long.
वाली
एंड में
में
मर
तो-
जाते ना हम तो।
हाँ,
मैं
एंड
मेरी
में-
भी नहीं आई।
वही एंड में लिखा था कि वो मर जाते हैं, वापस जाने का ऑप्शन
आफ्टर अ
है।
वेरी लॉन्ग।
अच्छा ये तो ऊपर चला गया।
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
अरे मेरे को लग रहा है कि उसमें या तो कुछ स्टेप्स करने थे हमें कंफ्यूजन एंडिंग के लिए, जो हमने करे नहीं।
हो
जैसे
सकता है।
टेक्निकली वो हुई नहीं हुई कंफ्यूजन एंडिंग, क्योंकि पता नहीं उसके बाद ना ऐसा लग रहा है कि रीस्टार्ट सी हो गई, वो एंडिंग थी नहीं।
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of
माफ कर दे
compromising
भाई।
narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
कितनी बेइज्जती करता है भाई ये इंसान। यार ये देख, इसमें मेरे को लग रहा है फिर से कुछ कोड डालना चाहिए हमें।
क्या?
ये 2848 तो चल नहीं रहा,
खुल गया ना वो तो।
लेकिन कुछ और ट्राई करते हैं। 1 2 3 4 कुछ कोड दिख जाए तो मजा है। 0427 अब ट्राई करते हैं. 427 ही थे ना?
हम्म,
चलो छोड़ो. 19614 कहीं नंबर दिखे तो बताइए. 4 डिजिट याद रखिए, कोई 4 डिजिट नंबर दिखे यहाँ क्या मारते हैं.
वापस ऊपर आ जाओ.
Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, why does he keep coming up with all of this? Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
फिर से जाओ. छोड़ यार.
जा.
कार्ड मारेगा ये.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
ये बात मान लेते हैं एक बार इसकी. नेक्स्ट टाइम देखते हैं.
चल ठीक है. वही यहाँ पे भी मैं पहुंचा वहाँ.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
ये तो I think सबसे basic
This
ending है.
mind control facility, it was too
बात
horrible
मानते
to
मानते
believe
बच
it
गया.
couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
104
life
fired.
in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Storytelling तो अच्छी है.
उसको करने दे हम तो.
सही बात है. One, 2, 3, 4 दिखे तेरे को. मुझे 5 दिखा खाली. एक पीछे रह गए.
दूसरी साइड होगा.
3, 4 नहीं दिख रहे. ओए. अच्छा जाने का वो नहीं है. 3, 4 का है.
ऑर्डर में प्रेस भी करने होंगे वो सब.
वो तो ठीक है कहाँ 4 ऑर्डर में तब करूँ जब बटन दिखे. 3 तो यहाँ पीछे छुपा हुआ है. चल,
और
छोड़
नहीं
परे.
मिला ना.
छोड़ आगे देखते हैं.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, He knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Okay, I think एक ending आ गई.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Open
It
world.
was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
नहीं हट नहीं करना मैं जब पढ़ूँ. करके मैं ना जाऊँ तो.
वेट कर 2 मिनट.
बोल दे तो अब बोलना हो तो काफी देर रुक गया.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
ओके आई थिंक ये एक एंडिंग थी वो जो मैं नीचे चला गया था जहाँ मैं कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहा था मेरे को, तो मैं वापस आया था. और एक एंडिंग थी ये मेन.
कंफ्यूजन वाली भी तो एंडिंग थी
All of
भाई.
his co-workers were
कंफ्यूजन
gone.
वाली थी
What
शायद.
could it
वो
mean?
पता नहीं यार.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to... Oh, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
ये गेम में इतनी इंटेलिजेंस है कि ये फर्स्ट रन नहीं है.
हाँ.
कि ये प्रूव क्लोजर पहली बार नहीं आया हुआ है या दूसरी बार आया हुआ.
गेम स्टार्ट करी तो क्वेश्चन है ना तेरे में कि you have you played Stanley Parable before?
हाँ इस बार नहीं आया था. फर्स्ट टाइम आया था. हाँ नाइस. कुछ नहीं बोल रहा कैसे ही मैं. चलो नीचे नीचे चलें या
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
बॉस ऑफिस में एक तो था कि एंड में जो एस्केप था वो नहीं गए, और एक था नीचे यहाँ नीचे नहीं गए, और एक बॉस ऑफिस के ऑपोजिट भी एक डोर था जो मैंने खोल के बंद कर दिया था.
पहले ऊपर चलता.
अच्छा बॉस ऑफिस के ऑपोजिट जाना है या फिर वो कहीं 4 डिजिट कोड कहीं दिख रहा है तेरे को? 2845 की जगह. ओए ये क्या चीज़ होगा? I got the feeling money is for stealing but not yours of course. See that's a lovely purse. क्या चल रहा है ये? यहाँ जाए. यहाँ जाने हैं या फिर नीचे एस्केप वाले में?
पहले यहाँ चलते हैं। लिफ्ट ही है नीचे कोई।
चलो भाई। वाह, अच्छा वेट, नीचे होगा फिर कुछ जाने के लिए।
मेरे को नहीं लग तो नहीं रहा।
क्या काटा है भाई, क्या काटा है?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
डालूंगा तो मैं अभी नहीं।
Stanley just sat around twiddling his
हाँ,
thumbs.
repeat हो रहा है।
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keyboard, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
ओ भाई,
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
fuck you narrator.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
ओ भाई।
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
ओ भाई, ओ भाई। ठीक है वो।
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator,
Ooh.
as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Narrator
In a
को narrate कर रही है।
single instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
है।
ओवरराइड कर दिया।
ओ भाई, स्टैनली पैरेबल इनसाइड स्टैनली पैरेबल। हे भगवान।
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
भाई साहब क्या गेम है ये?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh wait, oh
ऑफिस है।
यहाँ से निकले, हाँ ये गया है राइट में, ये मेमो वाला एरिया, कॉरिडोर,
दो डिसीजन वाला।
साइड और 2 doors, the very first concrete okay, section of an explosion of the contradiction is first.
नहीं तो आया नहीं।
ये मेरे को रूम से दिखे भी नहीं। ओ नाइस यार, ये अच्छा तरीका है यार क्रेडिट देने का।
सही में
ये तो बड़ा अच्छा लगा मेरे को देख के।
ऊपर भी जा सकते हैं पीछे।
बंद कर सकता हूँ पर मैं चला नहीं सकता, क्या लॉजिक है?
पीछे जाइए ऊपर। अच्छा वहाँ से आए हैं हम।
वहाँ से तो आए हैं, यहाँ राइट। ऑफिस क्लॉक, बॉसेस ऑफिस, स्क्रीन्स।
3 क्यों आए?
वहाँ ऊपर का एक और रास्ता है, अंडरग्राउंड। ओए
Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design.
अरे वो डाल
It's
रखे
the
हैं
kind
यार।
of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game
पढ़ तो
design.
सही इसको।
But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you.
एक से हैं ये।
रूम के अलग अलग साइड कुछ अलग अलग से
Stanley stood on the roof.
सेपरेट टाइम्स ओवर 2 years.
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you? He travelled upward to the power source at the top.
दिमाग खराब होएगा मेरा।
ये क्रेडिट चल रहे हैं गेम के भाई।
पता नहीं भाई, क्रेडिट अगर गेम पे क्रेडिट्स है तो बहुत ही अच्छे हैं। देखो फ्रीडम एंडिंग, दिस वाज द वेरी फर्स्ट गेम, द गेम्स अल्फा। अच्छा
और भी एंडिंग बताइए क्या? और देखिए क्या है
ये क्या 78 आया था ना यहाँ पे?
हाँ
मैंने बाकी नहीं देखा। शिट।
काउंटडाउन डैश।
अच्छा
एंडिंग है।
एग्जिट लिखा है।
नहीं रुक, और करिए क्या?
पता नहीं। गेम डिजाइन मॉकअप।
अच्छा पता है क्या, मेरे को लग रहा है जो मॉकअप था ना इन्होंने वही गेम में डाल दिया जहाँ पे हम पहले गिर गए थे।
ओह नरेटर ईमेल सब्जेक्ट फ्रॉम वोंग
अर्जेंट
Please, I would
रिस्पांस।
like to keep this for the top secret read if you are not interested. अरे अच्छा ये वो है उधर है। Dead strong word. How do you type with boxing gloves on? What do lights in the control room do? I really want to know. स्पैम ईमेल है, अब स्पैम ईमेल भी दिखा रहे हैं। Hi Mr. Narada, I have a question for you. So it is, what is your message for you? Sincerely, Harris. अभी वो लंबा मैसेज देखने को क्या आया था? हाय हाय।
Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? I donate.
Why? How?
Marius.
क्वेश्चन कैपिबारस क्या होता है?
जानवर होता है कोई क्या?
How do you say Michael the Rock Martin? Ding dong. Are you gay? भाई कैंसिल कैसे नहीं हुई?
तब इतने क्राई बेबीज नहीं होते थे ना।
Dear, I appreciate you, Stanley. कुछ सेंस नहीं would like to have. छोड़ भाई कि ये कितना पढ़ना है? भाई मैं हो गया भाई
अच्छा अरे स्काईरिम का जोक है।
अच्छा
इसमें पूछा ना इनफिनिट एंडिंग है, इसके स्काईरिम के टाइम पे हुआ था ये।
अच्छा
ठीक है।
भाई मैं खो गया भाई।
ये सब चीजें हमने एक्सप्लोर करी नहीं है।
ओके आई थिंक वापसी का रास्ता मिल गया मेरे को। रुक यहाँ पे यहाँ शुड रीच बैक टू जो हमारा मेन एरिया था ना।
वही क्या है?
वॉर जोन। हाँ इनिशियली यहाँ से आए थे ना क्रेडिट्स। सही सारा मिलके एक ही जगह जा रहा है बेसिकली। यहाँ मल्टीपल वो नहीं है, एक ही रास्ता है। एक्सप्लोर कर लो ये सारे क्रेडिट्स वगैरह। दोबारा स्टार्ट करते हैं। समझ गया यहाँ जाने में। यहाँ नंबर रिपीट हो रहे हैं ना 1 2 और 7 8। could go up or down with freedom. Down below.
4 1
The abandoned
7
place on what was up and what was down and plays the two endings together. है? मेरे को लग रहा है ये अगली गेम मतलब अगले प्ले थ्रू के लिए वो है कुछ।
1 2
12 ग्रीन था।
सेवन 1 रेड है। 4 7 है ब्लू शायद।
ब्लू दिखना है। ब्लू का क्या आएगा? क्यों
4 2 ग्रीन है। ग्रीन कुछ और नहीं था पहले?
हाँ छोड़ भाई।
क्या?
काट रही है तो।
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
ट्रिप है भाई।
But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let
मेरे को लग रहा है क्विट करता ना तो एक्चुअली क्विट नहीं होता वो। कर लेना चाहिए था। कर लेना चाहिए था। मैं बता रहा हूँ कर लेना चाहिए था।
फिर से करें ये?
नहीं अभी नहीं, अभी चलने दो। फिर से करते हैं। ये वाला फिर से करते हैं। ये वाला फिर से करते हैं। ओए ये डिफरेंट नहीं है थोड़ा?
हाँ थोड़ा डार्क हुआ है।
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
फिर से करते हैं।
क्या था? वो एंड नहीं हुआ मेरे को लग रहा है।
पता नहीं। हाँ
Yet there was not a single person here either.
कट गया यहाँ।
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find an oncoming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
भाई मेरे को ये गेम पसंद है भाई। मजा आ गया। सही वापस पहली वाली सेइंग आ गई।
The moment he entered his
बिना
manager's
बोले का
office,
enter कर दिया
Stanley
क्या बोले?
froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees,
One-
bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
यार हे भगवान क्या खेल रहा है ये
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
हे भगवान
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
Yes,
large
yeah.
door that read Mind Control Facility.
तुम खेलोगे क्या
Although this
अभी?
passageway had the word
Hilenge,
escape
hilenge.
written on it, the
Jaan
truth
beati
was
कर रहे
that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
क्या कर रहे हो?
1 घंटे से
BT
स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं हम क्या कह रहे हैं
The door behind him
BT
was
कर
not
रहे हैं हम।
shut.
BT?
Stanley still had
Bad
every
trip.
opportunity to turn
अरे
around and get back on
1
track.
घंटे से भी गेम खेल रहे हैं बहुत फनी है भाई
At this
Stream भी
point,
कर रहे हैं,
Stanley
मजा आ
was
रहा है।
making
ये
a
meta
conscious,
game
concerted
भाई।
effort to
मजा आ
walk
गया भाई।
forward and willingly confront his death.
कौन सी गेम?
कुछ बोलता नहीं बोलता कहीं यार रुकूंगा तो
पता नहीं वो सैंडी पैरेबल
चलो मैं बाद में फिर बाय बाय।
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent
ये
end
पहले नहीं
to
बोला
his
था ना?
brief and
नहीं,
shallow
नहीं।
life. Farewell, Stanley.
अगर इस बार फिर मर गए तो ऐसा नहीं मरे ना
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
ये तो रिपीट हो रहा है मेरे को लगा
When
इसलिए मैं
every
repeat नहीं हो रहा
path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
यहाँ तो मुझे कुछ डिफरेंट दिख नहीं रहा
एग्जिट कर दे आगे वो क्विट करके देख
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
करीब again.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his
Same
desk
हो
in
गया।
room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to
मतलब
him
फिर से
through a
काट दिया
monitor
हमारा।
on the desk.
क्लिक टू स्किप करा मैंने, रुक।
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
बता।
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
right.
door on his left.
Next
This was
वाला हो
not
गया
the
ना,
correct
सब
way to the
निकल
meeting
नहीं आ
room,
रहा
रहते हैं,
and
रहते हैं,
Stanley
अपने
knew
रहते
it
हैं।
perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
एक सेकंड आ।
मैंने फिर सुनेगा।
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
हाँ जी, हेलो जी, गिव अप कर दिया नरेटर ने।
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his
Left
left
सीधा।
to get back to business.
हम सीधा भी नहीं गए।
सीधा, हाँ ऑलमोस्ट सीधा भी नहीं गए, हम नीचे चले गए थे।
हम यहाँ गए थे ना, यहाँ हम चले
नहीं,
गए।
यहाँ पे भी हम नीचे गिर गए थे।
यहाँ पे भी नीचे गिर गए थे। चल एक बार ये
यहाँ पे भी हम सीधा
And
नहीं
so
गए
he
हाँ
detoured through the
Conference
maintenance
room कर लेते,
section,
conference room में
walked
मेरे
straight
हाथ में
ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here
यहाँ नीचे नहीं गए
either.
ना, हम यहाँ नीचे चलते हैं.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided
चल
to
एकदम
go up
new
to
game
his
नहीं start
boss's
हुई है.
office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe
fuck?
I am crazy.
What the fuck?
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any
ये भी करी है
logical
मैंने.
sense.
ओए 1 2 B4
And as Stanley
याद रखियो.
pondered this, he began to
1 to
make
B4.
other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
ओए
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream.
क्या
I wish
फील्ड ऑफ
it
व्यू
to be
बढ़वाने से हुआ
over.
क्या?
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the
लग नहीं रहा मेरे
buttons.
को.
Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
हे भगवान.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
भाई साहब, मारो मेरे को मारो. क्या आप क्या गंदे अटैक्स है इस गेम में भाई. मेरे को नहीं पसंद है गेम. भाई.
ये भी क्वारंटाइन.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Nice. Wait.
न्यू कंटेंट.
भाई.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
ये भगवान, न्यू कंटेंट. ओ मेरे ख्याल से ये प्रॉब्ली वो है जो अल्ट्रा डिलक्स में अभी डाला इन्होंने. कुड भी, मेरे को आईडिया नहीं.
हाँ अच्छा हाँ. DLC हो गया अभी.
Could be.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
अल्ट्रा डिलक्स वाला है.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
कुछ निकलने वाला है.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
फिर कटेगा.
चलो.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
कटेगा.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Oh.
यहाँ जंप कर सकता है.
अच्छा, इसी के अंदर कर सकता हूँ. करते हैं पूरी. बहुत मजाक उड़ाने वाला है ये जंप्स खत्म करते हुए.
न्यू कंटेंट
अरे
जंप कर
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
ऑप्शन थोड़ी है मेरे पास कोई ओए अरे शिट भाई न्यू कंटेंट में फंस गया
न्यू कंटेंट
वो ओरिजिनल एक्सप्लोर करना था
कोई नहीं वो भी हो जाएगा
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
चले बे लोड़े
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
चलो ये करते हैं राइट लेफ्ट वाला डोर कर लिया ना हमने सारा
When Stanley
Tara
came
to
to
nahi
a
kara.
set of two open
Kyun, kya reh
doors,
gaya?
he entered the door on his
नीचे
left.
चले गए थे हम
नीचे चले तो गए थे
हाँ ठीक है फिर तो हो गया
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
और रुक अब एक बार नीचे आके देखूं कंफ्यूजन वाली एंडिंग जो थी क्योंकि उसने कहा था ना यू नॉट मेंट टू सी दिस नाउ पर अब तो मैं ओरिजिनल एंडिंग खत्म कर चुका हूं या फिर आगे जाना है
And so he
Restart हो
detoured
जाएगी और
through
क्या
the
होगा?
maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
खोलते बंद कर दिया भाई
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to,
वो नीचे वो सारे जो वो थे
It's all rubbish now. The
Original
whole
ending.
story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
कंटेंट कैसे आएगा यार
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
न्यू कंटेंट का ट्रूथ चला गया। अरे रुकिए, मेरे ख्याल से कंफ्यूजन एंडिंग अभी चल रही है ना।
When Stanley...
हाँ
Wait,
ये
wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
आओ
Did
वीनू।
something change? Stanley, did you change
Yeah,
anything
but
when we were back in that
The
room
Stanley
with all the
parable.
monitors? Did you
Mental
move
Vinu.
the story somewhere or...
है जी
एसजी
on.
ट्वेंटी नो।
Why am I asking
Mental बना
you?
रहे
I'm the one who
हैं,
wrote the
SG2.
story.
हाँ
Right
मेंटल
there just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then.
मोमोज के
भाई एक का मेंटल बना दिया, एक का
Come
बॉडी
Stanley.
बना दिया,
Let's find the
एक का मैं वैसे ही
story.
प्रोजेक्ट का मैंने करा हुआ है। अपना काम छोड़ देता हूँ।
फुल टाइम एंटर एफटीएम।
टीपीएम से तो बेटर है। अरे भाई कहाँ फंस गए? ये देखो।
और ले कंफ्यूजन एंडिंग।
चलो ये ठीक है।
ये कौन सी गेम
स्टैनली पैराबल।
है जी?
I'll say it. This is the worst
अरे,
adventure I've ever been on.
ये
I can
इस गेम
promise
ने
you
इतनी
there
बेइज्जती करी है ना हमारी
definitely
अभी।
was a story here before.
मतलब
Do we
फोर्थ
just-
वॉल ब्रेक करके
do we need
थप्पड़
to
मारते हैं मुंह
restart
पे
the
आके।
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over
Really?
again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to
Hey,
the
okay.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
बाकियों का
memo.
काम हो गया,
क्या हो गई?
बाकियों का काम हो गया ना, तभी चलेगा।
लॉगिंग ऑफ अर्ली।
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be
Diwali
remembering
होगी
this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came
अरे वो
from.
लाइन वाला है
Why
क्या?
don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
ब्रांच
क्या?
चल लाइन वाला है क्या वो?
हाँ हमने कुछ तो मिस
Bad.
किया था।
आओ।
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The
Namaste.
story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way
Okay, man.
and retrace our
रॉकेट लेक
steps.
खेलोगे? खेल रहे हो?
Yes.
हाँ अरे
Now this,
Okay.
well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
अरे
I
यार
don't think so.
कहाँ
ओए,
फंस
I
गए?
can't quite recall,
बहुत
but I
लंबी है वो,
believe
तूने
my
क्यों
story
ली है
took
ये?
place in an
यार।
office building.
ये बार
Is that
कंफ्यूजिंग एंडिंग ढंग से पहुंच नहीं है यार। वो कंफ्यूजिंग
Do you
एंडिंग ने
remember,
फक अप कर दी
Stanley?
थी।
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and
अरे
square,
उतना है भाई,
and this
रोज
was
लेट
not one
है।
of those
अब
situations.
तो अर्शा भी आ जाती
Okay?
है।
I'm
Wait,
getting
यार
weirded
इससे
out
पहले
by
आ
whatever
गया।
this place
पता नहीं
is.
कहाँ लेट
I
हो
don't
रहा
care
था।
what might happen this time. I have to restart.
पता कर अर्शिया।
All
क्या
right,
कर दिया
I've
भाई?
got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just
ले जाओ
follow
भाई,
the
ले जाओ।
line. How simple is that? You see, the line knows where the story is.
क्या
It's
भेजें?
over in
चिट्ठी
this
भेजें?
direction.
मेरे को
Onward,
ऐस-
Stanley, to destiny.
चिट्ठी भेज दे।
Here's a thought.
पहले राजमा चावल
Wouldn't
भेज।
wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story
कल
there?
तो भाई मासी आ
Or
रही
to
है,
put it
पूरी
another way,
बढ़िया बढ़िया बनेगा।
is the story of no
तीनों
क्या
टाइम का
बनेगा?
खाना।
still a story?
अच्छा हाँ होता
Simply
है।
by the act of moving forward,
बर्तन भी बढ़िया
are
वाले
we
निकलते हैं।
implying a journey
हाँ।
such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation
तीनों टाइम का
of the
बढ़िया बनेगा, ये
nature of
अच्छी
life itself? Whoa.
Nice.
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
कोई और आ रहा है?
बना रहे हैं, start है।
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
नहीं आ
Stanley,
रहा।
this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure
चलो,
you
इससे
study
diamond
it
खेलेंगे।
closely and remember it
Okay.
carefully. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you? After everything we've been through...
2v2 लगाइए क्या
No, I can't take this anymore. To hell with
तभी
it.
नहीं तभी टाइम लगा
Restart.
रहे 3v3 जल्दी हो जाती है
दोनों लगा लेंगे दोनों ही लगती है
You know what,
दोनों नहीं
Stanley?
लगती फिर
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
रैंक डिस्पैरिटी
We're
दिखा रहा है
intelligent
3v3
people,
में
right?
क्या होता है
Why
भाई
can't we make
अरे
our
सुनो
own
सुनो
story?
अगर रॉकेट लिए
Something
खेल रहे हो थोड़ी देर
exciting,
दूसरे जनरल में चले
daring,
जाओ
mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly
यार
doable.
वापस
Why
आना
don't we
पड़ेगा
simply start wandering
Discord
out?
पे।
I don't know. How about this direction?
नहीं अभी
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and
चलो,
Stanley
चलो,
forging
वो
a new
खींच के
path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it.
तो एक
We
बार
should be fine.
सर्च करियो ये बेबी वाली गेम है अगर खेलते रहो थोड़ी देर कुछ होता है उससे
अरुण
कर कर सर्च कर
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think.
4 घंटे खेलनी पड़ती
Just
है
walk in circles
होता है
for a
कुछ?
minute.
हाँ
Okay.
अरे भाई
So I know that each
Seriously?
door has to
हाँ
lead
लिखा हुआ है।
somewhere, which means that somewhere the
अरे
place where
भाई
we're
क्या
trying to
डेडिकेटेड भी हो
go,
गई
there must be a
लोगों ने
reverse
डिस्कवर करने के लिए
door
कितना
that
डेडिकेशन
leads
है अरे
here.
भाई
And that in
4
turn
घंटे तक
means
किसने
that our
खेली है वो?
किसने
destination
खेली है?
corresponds with the counter-inverted
भाई, वो तो चल
reverse
YouTube पे
door's
देखेंगे।
origin. So starting from the
इसकी
right,
dedication
let
इसलिए।
us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
चलो ओके
Oh, hold up, what's this?
फाइंड द शेड्यूल
Confusion ending.
narrator
You're telling
forgets
me
Stanley
that's
times
what
about
this
prevented
is?
unable to go
It's
anywhere
all one giant ending.
I think game restarts
And we're supposed to restart the game
Find the line,
eight times? That's
attempt to
really
enter
how
story है.
all this goes?
narrator restarts a
It's
game
all
Same
determined?
restart, no longer simply like
So now, according to the schedule,
ये
I
हुआ ही नहीं।
restart again.
हाँ ये
Then
वाला
what?
नहीं हुआ ना part
Am I just supposed to forget?
Stanley
Well, what if I don't want to forget?
ये करना है भाई ये
My
होना
mind
चाहिए Stanley
goes
attempts to play
blank
story but
simply because
prevented
it's written here on this
unable to
this
go anywhere or do
thing,
anything
wall.
ये कैसे
Well,
करें हम
Who consulted me?
नॉर्मल
Why don't I get to
नॉर्मल
decide?
स्टोरी लाइन है
Why
Normal
don't
try
I
करते
get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped. Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do...
भाई ये डरावना था
ये तो न्यू कंटेंट आ गया ना
हाँ अच्छा मेरे ख्याल से वो एंडिंग हो गई
हाँ एंडिंग ही है वो भाई
Stanley!
नहीं पर वो कैसे
Come
आया था
over
बाकी
here.
लाइन वाला हिस्सा
In the
वो नहीं
vent.
होगा वो ऐसे
I want
लिखा
to
होगा
show. You don't want to see the cool
Sorry,
surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
एक मिनट यहाँ पे वो तीसरा
When
डोर
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
अच्छा मेरे ख्याल से वो
Stanley
एंडिंग
felt
हो ही गई
lightheaded,
बिकॉज
butterflies in his stomach.
रीस्टार्ट कर दी
Eager to
दोबारा
get back to
हाँ,
business,
जो भूल गया क्या
Stanley
कर-
took
क्या
the
करना
first
था।
open door on his left.
nope
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
गिरियो मत।
पेनल्टी फॉर जंपिंग ऑन कार।
एक बार पूरा नीचे गिर के देख।
विल कॉज डेथ क्या? हाँ मैं वही सोच रहा था, पूरा नीचे अगर
Look,
गिरूं
Stanley,
मैं।
I think
नीचे
perhaps
line
we've
तो है।
gotten
हाँ,
off on
line
the
है ना?
wrong foot here.
करिए
I'm not
करिए।
your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story, no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
यार ये तो बेइज्जती करता रहता है यार। या फिर
बाकी
से
कल खेले हम बहुत बुरे यार तो।
एक लास्ट वाला कर लेते हैं, न्यू कंटेंट
Come
कर
over
देखते हैं।
here. Oh,
इन
you
न्यू
don't want
कंटेंट
to
ही
see
तो
the
था।
cool surprise
नहीं।
I made for you?
न्यू
Well,
कंटेंट तो
fine.
छोड़
new
देना,
content।
वो वेंट है, वेंट
Anyways,
छोड़ दिया।
who cares?
क्या कौन सा कर रहा है फिर?
जो हर बार मैं
When
गिर गया ना,
Stanley came to a set
बिना
of
गिरे।
2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
I think सारे
Stanley
explore
knew
कर
it
लिए इसके
perfectly
अलावा।
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic.
dialogue
But
बहुत अच्छी
eager
है।
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong
भाई वो तो
foot
मतलब मैं
here.
फिर बिल्कुल ही
I'm not
गलती
sure
से करके यहाँ
really
प्लेटफॉर्म पे
am.
गिर गया था, मैं तो ऐसे गिर
I
रहा था।
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
ये क्या है बे?
पता नहीं। Wait,
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone?
हो गया वो?
That wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you
तो फिर ऐसे कर दिया।
You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
मैं तो ऐसे ही करके ट्राई कर
It's
लिया, हो
definitely
गया।
here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
अरे यार।
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, If you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
भाई साहब
Ah, welcome back.
भाई
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
क्या करूं फोन
फिर से
उठाओ
तार निकाल दियो
ठीक है It should I? Huh?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
वो गेट वेट लगा दिए पूरे तो वापस लेके जा रहा है
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
मैं नहीं जा रहा कुछ नहीं बोलेगा अगर मैं यहीं बैठा हूँ भाई ये क्या हो गया ग्राफिक्स खराब हो गया अंदर के
डिटोरिएट हो गए नैरेटिव कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन
यार वो तीसरा डोर कैसे आया था मैं वो तो अच्छा वो बीच में गिर के आया था
हाँ गिर के आया था वो अच्छा नहीं जाने दे रहा उधर भी
क्या नहीं दे रहा आना पड़ेगा उधर वो कह रहे परहैप्स यू नॉट टू लेट प्रोबब्ली वहाँ कुछ फकअप हो ही गया होगा
को वहाँ पे भी कुछ गलत उल्टा कर दियो
और वापस आओ गेट बंद नहीं करें ना इसने सेम फास्ट फॉरवर्ड का बटन चाहिए भाई इस गेम में
सही में भाई बहुत चलना पड़ता है
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
स्नेप की आवाज लगती है भाई एकदम
भाई
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead.
Right जाऊंगा तो बार-बार ये reload करता रहेगा. Left जाना पड़ेगा.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
अरे यार मेरे ख्याल से ये वो नहीं है normal.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
कुछ तो इसमें भी fucked up है. Normal मतलब normal अच्छी ending है executive door.
ओए toilet में वो भी नहीं है.
Toilet भी खुल भी नहीं रहा. कुछ तो अलग.
ओए कलर चेंज हो गया.
ओ हाँ ये तो है ही नहीं.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Do I actually have to speak? भाई अगर मेरे बोलने से गेम चल गई नहीं मेरी गांड पड़ जाएगी अभी.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Hey, let me check the settings. Mic mic का I don't think इसमें mic mic है.
नहीं.
काट ही
mic इसमें.
Night Shark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What the fuck?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
चलो भाई Stanley.
Please, I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
क्या ये ending है?
Is everything all right?
भाई?
Yeah.
Stanley, this is important.
भाई?
The
story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
भाई
Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be
समझ
wrong
नहीं आया।
here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward. Please choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than
Is this like the true ending or something?
I need this.
पता नहीं भाई, इसमें अल्ट्रा ये बाद में ऐड करिए, इसमें अल्ट्रा डिलक्स लिखा आ रहा है ना।
Could be.
Are you there? You
नहीं यार, ये तो
listening?
नॉर्मल थिएटर वेंट वाला तो करेंगे अभी।
Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
वो यहाँ छोड़ देगा क्या ये? What the fuck? अच्छा हो गया। I think हाँ हो गया। I think हो गया वेंडिंग, है ना? इसका फिर से वेंट वाला आएगा।
Stanley,
बंद कर दें आज के लिए।
come over here. In the vent.
मोर हो गए चल
I
चल के
want to
भाई।
show you
हाँ,
something.
बहुत
कल करेंगे वेंट वाला, मजा आएगा।
क्या बेइज्जती करी है भाई।
भाई मजा आ गया यार, सही बढ़िया गेम थी। ओह मेरे को शायद क्विट नहीं करना था, मेरे को उस टाइम बिगिन द गेम अगेन करना। चल देखते हैं, गूगल पे देखते हैं।
मैं उधर जा रहा हूँ, तू आ जाइयो।
हाँ